Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mind Your Mental. Just a reminder that this podcast is not meant to be a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health professional. I know they are hard to find, and I get that. I have a bunch of resources on my website if you need them, but I am not your clinician. I am a psychologist, but I am not your psychologist. So if you need any specific help, please look for the help of a licensed mental health professional. Learn all you can learn from the podcast. Enjoy the episode. And when you mentioned the aspect of like sharing emotions, one of the biggest things I thought of is how a lot of times Black men's emotions are also invalidated, right? Mm-hmm. Or I think there are many times, I've worked with some of my patients on this, where they'll be like, and they said this, and so I said that, and I'm like, okay, so you asked this person to express themselves. He expressed himself, but what you said was, no, I didn't mean that way. I meant express your emotions in a different way. Like I remember
in a way that feels good to me.
My students in a way that feels good to me, because I was talking to my students and I was like, their classmates was talking about something and they said something smart. So he said something smart back in the same exact tone. And they were like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess we getting sassy. And I said, what's sassy about that? You try to go toe to toe. And I said, and this is, I said, we're going to pause I always got to pause the syllabus. I said, we're going to pause the learning objectives. I said, you see?
Yeah.
I want y'all to understand, this is the long game of why there are less Black men clinicians. This is the long game of why people don't feel comfortable sharing their emotions, because all y'all keep saying, I want someone to talk to me. I want someone to share their emotions. But what you really want is someone to just share how much they like you.
Yes.
You don't want them to share their emotions. You just want them to tell you 50 different ways of how you're amazing. I said, because sharing their emotions doesn't make them sassy. You said something crazy and you ain't expect them to say nothing back. First of all, touche, because that was a good one.
Yeah.
Don't let nobody talk to you crazy. And second of all, there are so many times where I feel like men, especially Black men, are being told to, one, express something that they've never felt safe doing because we've never made it a world for them to feel safe doing. And then when they do, it gets received so poorly that they like, man, I ain't never doing this again.
And then we just suppress.
I ain't never doing this again.
Yeah, we become mute. And that becomes a part of this system where I'd rather just not, because the times that I did, it backfired in my face. So a couple of things. So even using the word simp and sassy grinds my gears, because that is penalizing men for having emotions. Gender does not mean, just because you're a man doesn't mean that you don't have feelings. Like, it's the most bizarre. But even when you look at all these podcasts that are out and all these think pieces and people that went to therapy one time 10 years ago, and automatically now they are this motivational speaker and they are Gandhi. I'm like, okay, no, you just got a microphone off Amazon. It's cool. It's cool.
I say the things that are contributing to the detriment of this world would be racism, housing crises, health inequities, and the purchases of microphones. I mean, that's on, to me, the list of things that are destroying the world daily.
And they get the good microphones too. I'm like, oh, you really invested in this. But using the words, so, because I will get off track, using the word simp and sassy, and anytime I see on television or social media, it's typically the women, but I also see men doing it to other men. Right. And then that creates this system where I don't trust my brother and I don't trust my sister. So I may as well just not say anything, because now you're penalized for having a feeling. And that's a part of being alive and a human being. So a lot of men, we live in this space where we want to be human and we want to be perfect. And that's not a thing. So then in session, when I start session by saying, well, tell me how you're feeling today. Oh, I'm good. All right. Well, let's put a feeling word to that. No, I'm good. Well, and so then we're really looking at a lack of skills, because if I haven't grown up in an environment that fostered how to feel and how to express myself, and even if I don't know the language to say I'm frustrated, where is it coming from? Where am I feeling it in my body? When I felt this before, what was happening? Can I track back and look at those triggers so I can communicate this to a professional and they can help me put the pieces together? The other part of that is masculinity. When you talk about the girls, I just want you to like me and make me feel good. I think a lot of men identity or their development of masculinity is directly associated with how much they can provide for a woman, or how much they can take care of a woman, or they can the bedroom, the bank account, and making you feel good. And men are so much more than that. Men get to have a skincare routine and go to the court. They get to go to a movie and they get to pull your chair out, right? They get to love and they also get to receive love. So truly looking at this from a two-way street, because a lot of our gender role arguments are so one-sided and so tacky, when I really just want to say, y'all, it's okay. You just don't know how to be in a relationship. Just say that. If you didn't know what you were doing, just say that. But you went to Amazon and got a microphone, and then this is how you want to communicate that to us.
And I appreciate that, because I think the top concern is not feeling like you can express something comfortably. What would you say? Like, what would be something you say to someone who they came into session and they're like, I tried to say something and express myself, and I was, immediately invalidated, and because of that, I'm just not going to talk to her about stuff like that anymore. Yeah. What would be your recommendation to that person? Yeah. To make sure that they can advocate for themselves, because men are allowed to advocate for themselves as well. Mm-hmm.
So I would truly talk about, all right, let's pull back for a second and let's re-examine that situation. Let's look at how you can take responsibility for how you showed up. Let's look at what was their stuff versus your stuff. But then also let's try it again. Right, because I think for us, we get real deflated when something doesn't work out the first time, because men like to achieve, and we like to feel good, and we like to feel strong. But the moment we're invalidated, that is impactful, and it just rips us, because the time I wanted to be vulnerable, let my guard down and stop looking at you over this wall and just try to see you face to face, you punch me in my face.
And that's what it is. I often use very visceral statements like that. Like, I often say, you just punched them in the throat, but that very much is what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, they over here took off their shield and their armor, and you were like, pulled out your shank, gotcha, and stabbed them. It's just and you see, that's why I don't take my vet. You're like, you see? Yeah. And that's what it is. It's already difficult to show yourself and even identify your emotions, because even from childhood, Black men are dehumanized and deprived of human qualities, and told, adultified, and told to suck it up and not protected. So to even get to the point where you can even identify your emotions, even the basic ones, you're angry, you're sad, there's a full range of emotions. So combating the world against that, identifying your emotions, taking the time to be vulnerable and express them. And then they shanked you. And you just
yeah.
Oh, I'm never coming back here again.
But you know what? I think that's part of it, though. We say we won't say anything else, but then we'll stay in the situation that doesn't serve us very well, just for the sake of being partnered with somebody. But honestly, by unpopular opinion, you can leave her or him. You can leave the relationship. Men can file for divorce. Men can say, yo, this isn't working for me anymore. But then we have, and I've seen scenes from Love and Hip Hop on social media. I gave up that life a long time ago. But I'll see scenes that were if the dude, so go with me. Picture it. Little Scrappy was trying to walk away from an argument with his paramour on the show, Erica Dixon. And she was following behind him saying, you soft, and you... But he was truly just trying to exit a conversation that didn't work for him anymore. But then that's just an example of how it looks. So going back to the original question, really reevaluate and examine what was happening in that moment. Did you advocate for yourself in the way that you wanted to? Try it again. Let's see if we can use different language. And let's also approach it when we're not heightened. A lot of times we're trying to have conversations in conflict when both parties are heightened, when we're not going to hear we're not going to hear each other. We're just looking to be right. Let's approach this and hey, do you have capacity to have a conversation about this later? Or are you in a space to talk? All right, well, when you did this, name it out, call it and say, when you did this, this is how I felt. I would like to try that again. But if you are consistently finding yourself in a relationship, no matter who the other person is, and you don't feel safe or seen or validated, that may not be the place for you to be. And I think a lot of the times men think we should just be able to take it because we're men. But no, you want to feel home is supposed to be peaceful. Work is what sometimes stresses us out, or family, or just being Black in America and you walking past somebody's car and they're locking their doors. I've started to lock my doors when non-black people are walking past my car, because I'm like, I wonder what.
I also do that, and I do it purposefully.
Yeah.
And I try to catch their eye contact before first. I might clutch my cardigan and be like.
And I have a Jeep, so it's real heavy with it locked too.
Loud,
I'm like,
right?
yeah, set that with my chest. But we have enough going on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You walk into a room, and before you even open your mouth, people have created this narrative about you because you are a black man. So then we're constantly figuring out, well, where do we fit, and what does that look like? What do we want life to look like? What does success look like? So we're constantly battling questions of fit in the world as well. But to go home and to be around family or a loved one who is invalidating your feelings is, I would say, probably one of the most harmful things that you can do.
Hey, everyone, just a reminder that Mind Your Mental is not just a podcast. It is also a amazing community, if I do say so myself. It's phenomenal. I mean, you get more access to me. What more could you want in this life? So if you want to join the community, if you're not already on the community, go to my social media. My social media is the same, Raquel Martin, PhD, and DM me the word community so you can get details on joining this amazing flipping community. You get more access to me, y'all. Like, I'm a delight. All right. Hope to see you there.